Promo ato Ghana this year, Mamma Wahana Malpaba, Emra RKTV so Emra Edu say the area plum to break us here ebe sumo. Or be fontin and feeding no so beka yon hoa about your like your comment na fe pia share no ema ne konenim. Afa yen hwe nsem ne bia ebedi mu akotene. Na endrada mampen John Dramani Mahama edi jumede bi shares wo Jubilee House a wo mark 1 year a wo ba aban emu. Saranzo suna yera Haruna Idris edi nsem bia to dwa edi fa Ghana Scholarship Authority a wo yi no fofo kra ehun. Saranzo so na rubber factory chumayefo edi oye church bin so ahyehye so. Nsɛm ne bi ka wei no ho na meje bre no makeka ne nyina de asomo sɛ arkeka se e wo RKTV so mame na nwume komasomas na mde ka se e be somo eno ani Grace Pentecostal Church sorry ba kwa nyankopon wo so ani na adoma hyemuma nti oton safra sɛ obi biara adadwe bi da wo so anase obi biara wo hwehwɛ asɔre a nyankopon adoma hyemuma etwa kwan a eno ani Grace Pentecostal Church so how be that wo so sɛ honhom fem anase honam die no Oba Grace Pentecostal Church a Yankopon benam ne dinfo ba so na wate ne nyina te e de amount. Ye tru kwan ye yira kwan kra ye wo ofanko eja hebal Estate Hills. Afei wo panyi bi ebia wo maame anaso papa wo dofu bi akenkan ne atrotro aye ne din a fane bra Happy Life Adult Education ne yentre na de kama no no so hu akenkan no sanso hu atrotro. Ene ye ni nkomo e wo 0242 178032 ebiom uodofo bia ne nigin sem tredwuma ho obeso twasini obeso handle camera obeso siase ne ye video editing and as a graphic design bibia fa media space no ho fane bra Happy Life Media School ne yentra ade kama friend e was 0242 178032 midi ede ganu elom amentwa me homra sisia me ba ensenimu ntwemu e wo ho Odo for mama na wasesa oje bre e de twa mama twa me ho bae afi yen hyensem no ase na endrada ena mampenyi John Dramani Mahama ene ndisi amanyekuo no enya 1 year waba abaimu na wadi jumede bi ehhehye so e wa Jubilee House endrada na wabra mampenyi kasa ena wadi tudwa se 1 year ya wenya e wo asetena mu anase abaimu ne se bi enye ndisi nko a enkunimdie na emom omanga na nyina enkunimdie.
Yeah, we do so honestly. We have taken difficult decisions. We have undertaken difficult reforms. We've laid the foundations that may not yet be visible, but are sustainable for the sustainable progress of our country. We have prioritized economic stabilization, institutional reform, social protection, and the restoration of confidence, both within our country and in the international community. The work we have begun is far from finished, but today reminds us that progress is not measured only by numbers and by charts and diagrams. It is also measured by hope that is restored, by trust that is rebuilt, and correct direction that is regained. Thanksgiving must also be accompanied by recommitment. And so today, we recommit to ethical leadership, recommit ourselves to service above self, we recommit ourselves to governance anchored in integrity, competence, and compassion.
Odo for my enter kase no so na minister edema education yera Haruna Idrisu endrada woni impenyifo a wate won fofo kra e Ghana Scholarship Authority ekwa asetna na wotwum se sabre ya yeyi won fofo na so biara hwe no bone humoden e woni ejuma emu na safe nso wo the scholarship de mo biara emma o my Ghana yenyina yaso NTB.
That should challenge us to change the narrative. And the pedagogy of your training must necessarily change in order that we can respond to the needs of industry and the needs of the private sector. That is not to say that I don't recognize that universities have a generic general academic training mandate, but at least We should see how society is evolving and train persons that can meet the competencies of the 21st century. On that note, on behalf of President John Dramani Mahama, I do convey my hearty congratulations to you, Chairman, and the very esteemed and distinguished members of the Ghana Scholarship Authority, and the public will be observing you very, very closely. And Uncle Simon, Director General, one of the things you should do, anybody you award scholarship, let the public know, publish it. This is the era of transparency. Let the public know who you have awarded scholarship and the justification for it. And then finally, affirmative action needs of the country. You may have a particular part of the country where doctors are lacking, a particular part of the country where they don't have specialized nurses. You can decide that you want to support the training of those persons, but deploy them on condition that they will be able to serve those areas. On that note, I wish you well. I trust in your competences and judgment, and I trust that you make President Mahama proud. And that pride should reflect in an accountable, transparent scholarship authority.
Medasa ka se arke kase no eni gusa ori hwe abefo tintan fidie no so ye beda me live na so be kan ho a pa tomorrow if so be like you be comment na wa share as I want subscribe ya kwadaro manu ayi ne sapepepe e de amame ye to ensem no so a ne akopiem e wo second D na rubber factory ba ko ho ejumai for wo ehonum no ene ni wode oye twetwetwe bi ahyehye so a wonsem ni nyina ene se eya raw materials ya wo me de ye ejumai no ekame akoye sempanyifo e de ni nyina ekọ amama hodo eso ne mo ni nyina no enya de a ebo nti esne santi no sempanyifo tu ha na mo se de be yen yankasa ye manga na no ye betumi aton bi ni enya so emfa so enu atwi no petition wode koye ode ma yen regional minister yen Ra Joseph Nelson.
Petition by the undersigned natural rubber actors in response to misleading allegations on raw rubber export and calls for a total ban. The actors of the natural rubber industry in Ghana, especially the farmers group, while busy preparing to engage relevant institutions on the raw rubber price mechanism, has taken note of recent public statement by Ghana Rubber Estate, GRE, the Rubber Processor Association of Ghana, RUPAC, the Western Regional House of Chiefs, and the ranking member of Parliament Trade and Industrial Committee, Honorable Michael Ochibefi. These statements allege that export of rubber are unchecked and hence undermine local processing, threaten Ghana's industrialization agenda to create jobs, and allegedly cause annual losses of up to $100 million. On the basis of these unsubstantiated claims, calls have been made for a complete ban on raw rubber exports. We wish to state categorically that these claims are false, self-serving, and do not reflect the realities of Ghana's rubber industry. The pretense of industrialization, the so-called processors, whom we call dryers, because they are not in actual fact processing rubber in Ghana, they are pushing for an export ban. It's not about protecting national industrialization. It is a deliberate attempt to monopolize the market, suppress competition, and force farmers to sell rubber cap plums at artificially low prices. We want the President of Ghana, His Excellency John Mahama, to hear from us that RUFAC is not against raw rubber processing or processes. In fact, we highly recognize them as critical partners in the industry. However, we expect that support fair competition, lawful regulation, and inclusive industrial growth. We also urge them to answer the fundamental question. We are asking the so-called dryer company to answer this simple question. It is not a PhD question, simple question. Why can processors not offer higher prices for cap loans than exporters? Why can't they offer higher prices than the exporters? Why? And we are saying why.
Medofo mayento akase no so ne kopiemu ewo University of Ghana na endrada odi dwumede bi ehye so ewo hwapomu ho na opanyi ba kwa odi na December etudwa eye Ghana Ishmael Yamson seban governance mu a odi mu akotene sanso na eba business management anase sikamu FM a opanyin so di mu akotene na wodi tudwa ne titiri e de ama mampanyin John Dramani Mahama ese eye illegal mining anase Galamsey yi e ade a ss yensu wanso a yensase ene enobaye nzese mampanyin etu hana mompa ne etimi tu ase krakra.
And then the culture of impunity. Madam Chairperson, we want with horror as our pristine river bodies, the Pra, the Ankobra, the Birim, the Ofin, and many others, are turned into toxic mud by illegal mining. With this destruction, we see this destruction happening in broad daylight, often with the complicity of those who want to protect us. When a nation poisons its own water to feed the greed of a few, it is not just an environmental crisis, it is a spiritual collapse. Additionally, Ghanaians watch helplessly every day as their leaders plunder the resources meant to develop their medical, educational, water, roads, bridges, and other economic and social infrastructure, while the few public office holders acquire huge and numerous assets and live offensive, ostentatious lives.
Medofo ma yenwie kase no ewo New Juaben South Municipality. I work for Idria epoye mantemu. Na amanebo abetudwa etwemu se timemufo wo sakwe no enenu ehu abon pa ni nyina ene se enche kakra ni anase meka kakra ni wode oni atofo mehu se eya kronfo ama ohum ne so ewo sakwe ni mpa na ni nyina ne se wokoda na se bia wo ka oba paake o ka de betu ba kwhwe ni ebu eni na ebia nwema a ehu hia bitise wo phone usika ebia laptop anase document bi ehu hia ono weni baba won so no de ni nyina ekọ the senti wo sufra ban ne se wo mra meye wo odofo kase no esi ansa na ebe sori so no ma membo nsem ni bia mede etudwa emfama mo na endra da mampanyi ene endisa manyoko no ene enya 1 year wa ba aban mu Saranse so na yera Haruna Idrisu ede nsembia tudwa ede ama Ghana Scholarship Authority. Afe nso so ejuma oye ejuma rubber factory I was second D or the oye church bi ede ahihye so. Grace Pentecostal Church eda so aton safra o se obi biara wo hia enkwaje obi biara wo panyankopon asem a anu odese no funsuo no bra Grace Pentecostal Church na ni nyina entumi enkojojo nyankopon nam di for ba so oha biara da wo so etimi atenete na wo so wenya wo nkwaje ye wo ofanko eja herbal Estate Hills. Afe Happy Life Adult Education ebia wo maame anase papa bia onima kenkan enima trotro na so pese odi niko school a adaro ma fa ne bra Happy Life Adult Education ye won fidie ye wa twetwefo ye de odo ne abotre ebe tro nipa na de no no so huna kenkan ene atrotro fa phone na friend e wo 0242 178032 afe so you obi a we ni jinsem twetwuma ho opese wo handle camera opese osuase na video editing graphic designing okasa wo TV ni radio so a bra Happy Life Media School ne wanchro ade kama ene eni nkomo ewo ahomachofo so 0242 178032 Amanda production team ni nyina ase meda NSS so chinchin fidie no ede ama won so watibie mama lunsu meda wase won so ojebre ede hwe kase ma omo ene hwe midi ede gano elo makram